Next, here's an opportunity for me to swing my arm all the way through as I drive my left arm all the way around his head, and we're setting up for an arm triangle. And at this point, he could try to put me back in half guard. We're holding this gable grip here. This is the chopping block. My head's on the ground. It's the step before the actual finish, the arm triangle. So the goal is, however we get there, is to pass and get on his left side, knee on the belly, my right leg is in a track stance, and then we're in an arm triangle position here. I extend my leg and twist them, and I'm twisting downwards, counterclockwise, in the figure four position here. My left knee is never on the ground. It's in a track stance, driving all my weight into his neck, twisting down counterclockwise, and stretching his body with my legs, straightening out my leg. Again, I'm in twister side control here. He gets on his side, doesn't have the underhook yet. If I could swing my arm all the way through, I have a chance to dive on his head, wrap my left arm around his completely around his head, gable grip, pass to his left side. We can stay here in the chopping block, rest, wear them out, and then when you're ready to go, knee on the belly, right foot in a track stance, figure four, twist down into his right shoulder clockwise and straighten out my left leg. One of the best reasons to develop twister side control is not only does it get you in a whole new dimension into the truck and all the different submissions from the truck and the transitions, but also it's easier to mount from twister side control. A lot easier from regular side control. We gotta get our knee up to the hip, slide it across the belly. But if he's super hyper conscious about it, he's gonna keep his leg up. It's the normal thing to do. It's hard for me to slide my knee through. But at this angle, at the twister side control angle, if he's blocking, it's a lot easier if you have the correct flexibility to mount. So you're going, you're trying to set up the whole truck dimension, but we decide to mount here. It's blocking. I mean, he's got his knee all the way up, but as long as I have the proper flexibility, I'm grabbing my toes, bringing it through into the mount. Another transition off twister side control. Getting to the mount, it's a little different than the tiptoe mount. It's when you have your opponent in side control, he's got his legs together squeezing tight. You can't get anything in there. You can't get your fishnet in there. You can't pry anything open. But what you can do is, in your attempt to pry something open to hook up the transition to the truck, if it doesn't work, you can always just hook and mount off a failed grapevine attempt. So we're in twister side control, he's on his side, we can't pry anything open, we're messing with his ankles, nothing's working. We just overshoot, hook, spin, squeeze the leg together, and now we're in the mount. One more time. Twister side control, strong legs, nothing's working, hog tie's not working. We try to pry, it's not working. We overshoot and hook both the legs, end up in the mount in skydive. This transition to the truck actually begins in the truck. Very important transition. A lot of times you'll find yourself in the truck And remember, like I said before, you must always control your opponent's free leg or free arm so that he can't spin to freedom. If he spins, he gets on top, he's in top side half. You were in scoring position, you were on the 10-yard line. That's an interception return for 50 yards. All right, so you must maintain control. But sometimes you're going to lose it either way. If you're not controlling the toes here and you're controlling the ankles, it allows him to kick his leg free, giving him a split second to spin. You roll up with him here, because he's gone, you have a choice to make. Follow him and try to take us back, which is the natural thing to do. It's like, oh, he's escaping, he's spinning, I gotta follow him. And what happens is you're gonna be too late, he spins all the way through, and then you end up losing the position. The correct thing to do, and again, that's the natural thing to do. You're losing your opponent, you're chasing his back. You have to change those instincts though. If you're here and he kicks free and you lose control and he spins, you gotta reset. Don't go after him here, go away from him, and it's just like the muffle, just like the wrestler here. With the ankle already, with the leg fully hooked. So you're good. You just have to remember to roll and you're back here. Now you're gonna hold that free foot a little tighter. This submission from the truck is probably the most common submission in the truck and is definitely one of my go-tos. It's the calf crank. It's quite simple, but to do a perfect calf crank, there's just a few things that you have to make sure you're doing. And anytime we're cranking this leg here, this is the leg we're attacking. There's a big difference between grabbing the instep and pulling down, grabbing the ankle, and putting your thumb over his toes and crank. Big difference. Grabbing the toes here is the most effective. Hard for him to put a boot on and power through. He wants to keep his legs straight. If he keeps his legs straight, I can't grab that calf crank at all. So you manage to grab his foot and you don't grab it at the toes. You grab his foot, but so what? He puts on the boot and straightens out his leg. So a perfect calf crank would be controlling his toes here, and we're controlling his other foot here as well. We're not attacking with both arms here because you could get arm barred here. Happened in a pro MMA fight in Japan. So you want to control this leg as well anyways, because if you're here, he could just stomp through that. He could grab an arm bar or stomp through this and you lose the leg anyways. So basically this is a savior. You want to take a savior out of the mix. Same thing. If you control at the instep, he puts a boot on, straightens out his leg. Of course, controlling the ankle is even worse. Perfect calf crank. Anytime you practice the calf crank, make sure you do it perfectly. Thumb over the toe, not like this. Coming from the outside. And the final touch is stomping your ankle with your foot, driving your left shin into the back of his left knee. And that's where all the pressure comes from. This is not perfect. That's not perfect. This is not perfect. Although it could work, you don't necessarily need to stomp on your foot. It just adds maximum pressure. You can finish like this, no problem. This is the best. When you're practicing, when you're drilling, make sure it's perfect. It's really simple. This submission from the truck is related to the calf crank. The calf crank is here. Usually this is enough pressure to make him tap. Some guys resist the pain. Some guys have stronger legs than others. So sometimes you need to resort to the kamikaze calf crank, which is the ultimate in pressure. You're taking your right foot, instead of stomping it on your own ankle, you're gonna bring it through the inside as deep as you can, all the way around his ankle, and your left toes grab onto your shin and twist it. Again, we're here in the truck. We're able to grab that calf crank here. It's not enough. He's really strong. We're gonna base my right leg all the way through as far as you can go over his ankle, and the key is grabbing onto your left shin, or with your right shin, with your left toes, and squeezing and twisting. Straightening out, tiptoeing your left foot. In the truck, there's 2 flexibility testing submissions that are available for you. There's the old school high school wrestling banana split, which stretches this leg that way, which we'll get to in another segment. And there's the crotch ripper, which takes the leg in the complete opposite way. His left leg is stretched exactly the same way. It's going that way. This leg is either stretched this way or that way. This way is the crotch ripper. Now, you can do the crotch ripper with your head on the inside or your head on the outside. It doesn't matter. I prefer on the inside if I'm setting it up from the truck. We could also set it up right off the twister roll, and we'll get to that in another segment. But if I'm here in the truck and I wrap my left arm all the way around his right leg, nice and deep, just above his kneecap, we don't want to be down here, we don't want to be on his shin. Just above the kneecap, as deep as I can go, nice gable grip, we're bear hugging his leg, we're stretching it this way. And the final touch is taking your lockdown leg, your right leg, turning it into like a karate side kick and stretching it out as I pull and yank. This move doesn't work that well with women, but about 80% of men can't take this when done properly. So we're in the truck here, controlling his free leg or his free arm, trying to go for a calf crank, trying to make something happen. We wrap around his leg here, nice and tight, gable grip, side kick his Achilles tendon, and stretch. If it's your opponent's flexibility you want to test, you can apply or attempt a crotch ripper. If you can't get that crotch ripper, if you can't pull his legs forward because he has his leg cocked back here, then we just take the path of least resistance. Now we got to stick our left arm as deep as possible, deep behind his knee. We're going to take his leg that way for the banana split. Once you got that left hook nice and deep, I'm going to put my hands on an S grip, make a little hoop, side kick his far Achilles to stretch him out, and pull my arm back behind my head. Again, we're in the truck here. Calf crank's not working. I can't pull his leg forward towards me for the crotch ripper. He's got to